James Monroe McKenzie, entrepreneur and philanthropist, was born on February 14th, 1818. In 1860, he donated land for the depot and freight office where the Nashville and Northwestern Railroad crossed the Memphis and Ohio Railroad, resulting in the town being named McKenzie. He gave land for Bethel College in 1872 and for the Masonic Lodge, and he died on October 9th, 1873. James Monroe McKenzie, namesake of the town of McKenzie. Let's go. Good evening, everyone. This is P9 with another vlog, and I am here in the city of McKenzie, Tennessee. And McKenzie is located at the tripoint of 3 counties. You have Carroll, Henry, and Weakley counties. So it's kind of at a weird location in terms of being in 3 counties at once. And it's on the Tennessee Civil War trails. And the city of McKenzie was originally surveyed and platted in 1865 on land that belonged to James McKenzie at the crossroads of the main lines for the Nashville and Northwestern Railroad and the Louisville and Memphis Railroad. And the station originally called McKenzie Station was erected at the crossing. So, you know, here's a little history of the Confederate Assembly here during the Civil War. Here are the participants: Colonel Thomas Claiborne for the Confederate Army, General William H. Jackson, and Major Carl Schaefer D. Bornstein. And on the Obion River here in Weakley County, there was regiments that marched in from Tennessee, and they surprised the Union Patrol from Fort Hyman. And this is where it took place, right up in here. This is McKenzie. So it was just basically Confederate General P.G.T. Beauregard ordered Colonel Thomas Claiborne, 6th Tennessee Cavalry, to attack Union garrisons at Paducah. And they actually reached here McKenzie Station on May the 3rd en route to Paducah to launch that attack on the Union soldiers. So we have this park right here in downtown McKenzie on the courthouse square. You have a gazebo over here. Nice place to hang out. And there's tons of markers here for different military personnel. As you can see, here's a memorial dedicated to the memory of those from Carroll County who made the supreme sacrifice from World War I, World War II, Operation Iraqi Freedom. So salute to all of those soldiers. And there goes a display of a cannon right over here. You can see there goes the cannon. You know, this being a Civil War site, they're going to have a cannon to commemorate the Civil War. And that building right there is actually a genealogical library, Gordon Brown Museum. You have some deserted buildings over here. Yeah, the McKenzie banner. They do newspapers, printing, web design, and hosting. And here's the McKenzie banner newsstands, 50 cents per copy. Interesting. Now, McKenzie also is home to Bethel University. So for those that are into post-secondary education, if you ever find your way to McKenzie, that's what they have to offer from a post-secondary, first, secondary education standpoint. And this right here is a furniture store. Lazy Boy, I believe it is. But at this corner, at the corner of Broadway and Lee Street, once was what was called the Arcade Saloon and operated from 1870 to 1885. So we're talking at the end of the 19th century. And the proprietor of the establishment was J.H. Coleman, who touted himself as a saloonist. Coleman advertised that a patron could buy the purest liquors and wine for less money in his bar, and that bars in Nashville, Memphis, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Louisville couldn't beat the variety of drinks he served. So, yeah, J.H. Coleman said there's no competition with him. You have a State Farm agency right there. And you have this building, which is the Wrinkle Hardware and Furniture Building. And you have these awnings that have Bethel University's name on it. And the Wrinkle building was constructed in 1910 by Costin Moore and Company. The Wrinkle family was involved in the business from 1915 until 1996, when Bailey Moore Wrinkle donated the property to Bethel College. Chronologically, here you have the different companies that operated out of this building and stocked goods, including plumbing and electrical supplies, shotguns, rifles, ammunition, pocket knives, appliances, furniture, nails, bolts, screws, paint, flooring, horseshoes, and tacks, and hundreds of other items were being sold out of this building. And the toy department was downstairs, and the store advertised itself as Santa's headquarters. Okay. So yeah, this is the Wrinkle building. Make my way back over this way. This looks like this was at one point in time, may have been a hotel, perhaps. Maybe not though, but this looks like a little event space, an event venue right here on Broadway. And you have the rail yard workspace right here. Now, this was once the Bank of McKenzie, but it now serves as the McKenzie Memorial Library. And it sits next to this building, which houses the McKenzie City Florist. So you have the McKenzie City Florist and more. Nice little painting right here as well. Tennessee flag hanging outside the McKenzie tap room, where they serve beer, have games and craft beer and things like that. Conjetta's Shy Italian spot. Conjetta's Shy Italian, Chicago Italian street food. So you have an Italian style restaurant that sells the Chicago style hot dog. You have the Maytag appliance shop right here. So it's cool to have an appliance store right downtown. Carroll Insurance Agency. So McKenzie is mostly located in Carroll County. I know I mentioned earlier that it was located at the tripoint of 3 counties. Again, those being Weakley, Henry, and Carroll. But it's mostly in Carroll County. And this is the Happy Book Stack Cafe. And this was the building that hosted the first U-Tote store in McKenzie. And U-Totem concept was created by John Chandler Everett and his son-in-law Glenn King. The first U-Totem in McKenzie occupied the north side of this building on Broadway and Cedar that is commonly known as the Ben Franklin Building. U-Totem operated at that site from February 1921 until April 1936, when the business was moved to Cedar Street in the building known as the Lindsay's Rexall Drugstore Building. It was in operation at that site until it closed during the early 60s. So, yeah, this used to be the U-Totem store back in the early days of McKenzie. Let me go back this way real quick. Jack Martin Antiques. I wonder if Bethel University is this way. I see like some church looking buildings. Ha. This mural says, "This must be the place." Bunch of colorful flowers. Really nice mural. And the mural is by A. Bowers. Shout out to A. Bowers for this beautiful mural that says, "This must be the place." Okay. Sits right outside this boutique. This is the Silly Goose right here. Silly Goose looks like a shop that sells baby clothes. You could tell by the merch. It's baby clothing. The ABC blocks, you know how that go. Let me go back this way. Jack Martin Jewelry, Antiques, Gifts, and Collectibles. Okay, Jack Martin. Wow, they really do have some pretty neat antiques in that shop. Super Drugs Pharmacy right here. And this was the Hamilton building from the late 1800s until the Hamilton building was constructed in 1929. Denning's Tin Shop, a livery stable, and Lee Stroop's saloon operated on this site. Originally, the building was in 2 sections. On the west side was Bobo's dry goods store, and later the National Store. And on the east side was Covington's drugstore. There was also space upstairs that over the years housed the office of Dr. E.M. Alexander, the H.H. Bass Insurance Agency, Ralph Stubbs' law office, a beauty parlor, and other businesses. The wall between the businesses or the buildings was later opened to encompass both buildings and became Super Drugs, which continues to occupy the entire building and has been a family-owned business since 1948. So shout out to Super Drugs for running their establishment for over 70 years, close almost 80 years. And there it is right there, Super Drugs. It's closed now. It's a vacant storefront right here. My sister's closet and boutique. Yeah. Now, this monument was dedicated to the friend and hero, Sergeant James Dusty Carroll, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, as well as the 230th Infantry. And look at that. You have the well lit up Park Theater. The sign is up. The sign is lit up, so which signifies that it is still a functional theater. Wait to cross the street. But also at this corner of Cedar Street and Main Street, you have the McKenzie Banking Company. And yep, this is the historic Park Theater. Now, this was originally a blacksmith shop, 1882. And it was constructed in 1920 as a used car dealership until 1928 for the following Moore and Page Dodge, Thomas Chevrolet, and Skate Chevy. So a whole bunch of merchants used this building before 1941, and it became the Park Theater. As you can see, it's still open, and they still showcase showings. They still use it for a performing arts venue. And check this out. They looks like they show first run movies. This Spider-Man Brand New Day, which premieres July 31st. So it's good to have these classical theaters still show first run movies. And they even have the little kind of like the Hollywood setup, but McKenzie's version. That's pretty dope. Virginia McDade Manor, different stars. McKenzie Banking Company. And I guess these are locals. So they're stars of McKenzie. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool setup that they have right outside this theater. Right here in downtown. Check out this fire mural right here on the side of the theater. And it signifies, illustrates the history and overall landscape of McKenzie, Tennessee. And you can see at the top, it shows where McKenzie is at the junction of three counties, Weakley, Henry, and Carroll. And there goes Mr. G.W. McKenzie, station master right there. That is the Louisville and Nashville Railroad car outside of the depot. And there goes a gazebo and the guitar symbolizing music. And there goes lemonade, so you can chill under the gazebo, under the tree for shade with some lemonade. And this is the Welcome to McKenzie 38201. 38201 is the zip for McKenzie. And you have football, baseball, go Rebels. I believe that's the local high school mascot. So they show love to the mascot, of course, the Park Theater, which is where this is on the side of. And the proud home of Bethel University. The Bethel University is the private college here in McKenzie, home of the Wildcats. Webb Public School, McKenzie. Professor J.L. Seats. I don't know really anything about Professor Seats, but he is a fixture in the history of McKenzie, Tennessee. And then you have this plane right here. It shows established in 1869. So a really dope mural. So shout out to whoever did this mural. Doesn't have a name attached to it, but whoever did it did a really great job of illustrating the history of the town of McKenzie. Walking down Cedar Street, there's the water tower in the distance, McKenzie Water Tower. You also have this farmer's market building right here. So that's actually the McKenzie Municipal Center right across the street, which houses the McKenzie Fire Station. But this is the farmer's market building right here. But it used to be what was called the Maxwell Automobile Dealership. This portion of the building was constructed in 1929, where Hurley Lard operated a Maxwell automobile dealership. This site was also the home of other automobile dealers and related businesses who selected this location, including Skates Chevrolet in 1929, Scott Motor Company from 1930 to 1931, a service station in 1931, and Shelley Dotson's garage during the 1930s. In 1942, J.H. Harris and Ernest Vick opened a feed and supply store. In 1944, a Dodge and Plymouth dealership opened under the name of Terminal Motors. Billy Valter and John Mosley began a produce company in the building in 1954. And since that time, it has been home to Brandon Heating and Air and City Florist. The building is owned now by the city of McKenzie. And again, you see that it operates farmers markets, but it had numerous functions in the past, including being an automobile dealer. And it looks like this is where they the different merchants set up shop right out here under this under this structure. And this is a nice little park right here. I think this park is connected to the railroad depot right here in McKenzie. Arcadia Lori Hair Solutions over there. A couple of establishments down this way. Check that out. Some nice playground equipment over here. And you also have the wooden bridge right there. Now, McKenzie, Tennessee was basically built around the railroads. So that's why the city definitely emphasizes its railroad history. They take a lot of pride in the railroad history, as you can see, maintaining this red caboose right over here. And this is the real deal, by the way. This is a real deal. This is not a replica. This is the real deal, the red caboose. Apparently, it looks like it's been restored, over the years. And, people use them. It looks like I see a Coke, like a machine, it's like one of those freezers, actually. And this is the actual depot. Now again, this was platted on land belonging to James McKenzie, excuse me, not McKenzie, McKenzie. This is a vital rail junction right here in West Tennessee. And this is a historic train depot of McKenzie, Tennessee, which was refurbished by McKenzie Industrial Development Board in December 2013. And here are all the board members. The contractor was Micah Beasley, and the draftsman and designer is Mark Jones. They're the ones who played a huge part in the refurbishment of this historic depot right here, McKenzie. You see the name right there. And the dedication of the depot took place on May 3rd, 1927, and was reported by the local newspapers as the biggest day in McKenzie in a long time. The building was touted as being the finest railroad depot between Bowling Green and Memphis. Officials from the Louisville and Nashville and North Carolina and St. Louis lines attended the dedication. The city of McKenzie currently owns the building, which sits on the National Historic Register, and it serves as the headquarters of the McKenzie Economic Development Board, Train Museum, and Welcome Station. Okay, so this building serves as multiple purposes. Now, McKenzie, again, built around the railroad, was incorporated in 1869. And it drew in residents from other communities nearby, such as Caledonia and McLemoresville. Let me go this way, actually. I saw something really cool. You guys know I love the railroad depots, so this type of stuff never gets old for me. Yeah, I wanted to come over here and get this wooden carved train model. Carved out by, looks like Kinzer Built Company, not the ordinary. Oh, this is really cool. This is really sick right here. You have the caboose back here. Multiple rail cars carved out of wood. Yeah, it's a really cool place to come and chill. You know. That'd be cool if they had some seats though, but I understand, you know, I don't know if they want anybody getting on these this wooden sculpture, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah. The red caboose. And there goes the actual tracks over there. See the railroad crossing. Yeah. This is dope. So I guess this is their version of a splash pad. Wow, this is very unique. Very unique right here. You see the well right there. Wow, they have this. They have the railroad crossing traffic signal. They have this perfectly themed around railroads. Got the wooden bridge right here. Wooden little walking bridge. I have a gazebo over here and a little playground set. Oh, this is dope. That's dope. And let me go get this. Okay. Got your xylophones. Yeah, I know I gotta try to display some type of musical skills. I did my best, y'all. Yeah. But it's pretty cool that they have these little xylophones that you could play. And yeah, right here at the McKenzie Depot is where I will end this vlog. I'd like to thank everybody for tapping in to this vlog with P9 Travel Vlogs right here in the railroad town of McKenzie, Tennessee. If you guys made it this far, make sure you tap the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. And once you tap that bell, make sure you select all. That way you get notified every time I drop a new vlog. And with that in mind, good people, from McKenzie, Tennessee, this is P9 signing out. Peace.